This slide is actually a result of a project we're in the midst of, but this is Beaumont School District in Beaumont, Texas. You can see down each row is school by school by school, and then columns as you go left to right would sort of be different measures. They might be called facility improvement measures, or FIMs, or facility upgrade measures, FUMs, or energy conservation measures, ECMs. So within the industry, there's a lot of different terms to call it, but this shows sort of the flexibility of how you build an overall strategic plan. Working with Beaumont in looking at fund balance, and they had some ESSER funds, and we sort of pieced it through with a job order contract, or JOC, and Tara and David will talk about that a little bit later. But there's no need to have to do everything all at once in one giant, complicated finance project. This gives you as a district a roadmap to decide what's most important. Do phase one first. And it could be water conservation. The first column, you might decide as a district, I want to do water conservation everywhere first. Or you could go horizontally and say, I want to pick 5 schools and go left to right and do everything in those 5 schools. Let's do what we can through fund balance. Let's position some of this for a future bond. We might need to get a loan. We might do this as a service. And those are some things Zach will talk about in his segment. But this is a really good roadmap that I would encourage each district to build for themselves, or hire someone like us to help you. This is an interesting example. This is for a really large district here in Florida, and this was a project I did several years back. But this was a district that was extremely focused and conscientious on electricity expenditures. They were working with a company that did behavior modification and was turning things off when it wasn't necessary. They had 3 full-time energy managers that trained a site-based person to follow behind teachers and make sure lights were turned off, and it really focused on electricity. And what we did when we came in and started talking to them was we said, well, that's great, but what about water? And they kind of looked at each other and they really hadn't thought much about water. And so what I like about this chart, if you look at the pink line or the magenta line that's sort of going left to right, that's the square footage of the district. So this, again, was a large district that went from a little over 8 million square feet to 10.5 million square feet. You could see then the blue line, or the dark blue line, as it goes left to right, it was following a similar slope as their water consumption was increasing until its high point. And that's when we came in and did a project that was primarily focused on water conservation. So changing out old inefficient plumbing fixtures, retrofitting flush valves, getting several high schools off of city water, digging wells and turning them over to an full-time irrigation system using well water. The amount of money that the school district in particular was spending watering football fields, baseball fields, softball fields. I know high school football is a huge thing in Texas. It is here in Florida too. So these football fields were pristine, but we showed them a tremendous savings in water. And as most of you know that look at utility bills, water is one component of your water and sewer bill that comes from the local utility, and it's somewhere between 20 and 30 or maybe 40%, but 2/3 of your water bill you get from utility is actually sewer or wastewater charges. So this was a huge saving for this particular district.